Good early morning to you. Welcome to my coffee break. I choose to be guided. Okay, so this is like a duel. This is like a trio. Usually after my workout, I get to working. But today, the Spirit's like, no, we're not doing that. We're going to do something else. So we're going to have another conversation. And so today, this morning, this conversation is after we've just had two powerful ones about the pearl, and I forgot the other first one, but I choose to be guided, that part. So anyhow, as I started the video off, okay, I went out of power on the other video. Here's the deal. The person, like I said, the person that was guided, that was guided to this video today, this morning or afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you, you were guided here, but then you saw the title and you paused, and then you felt a nudge to stay, to keep listening, and you were guided to this video. So you have prompted this video here, and the scenario is this: the tarot and things got you tripping. You wondering, what the hell has Dr. Princess-Odilia done? How in the world is she on this tip? So you worry about the wrong thing. That's first off. Second of all, don't you turn this dial, okay? When the Spirit gave the title to me, that was something that I was really, really myself pausing on, because I was nervous with the information that I had received that made sense, that it was a part of something that I had always done anyways, and that is following the Spirit, being guided, and really basking in the ambiance of happiness and joy and having fun with life, regardless of whatever situation I've been in. I've always followed the journey. I followed the divine, so my journey has been guided. Tarot, quick definition: tarot is a story. It talks about from the Fool, and it highlights different aspects of the journey in alignment with certain aspects of energy as we have defined it in astrology. So it talks about this, and it is intended to be played, of course, to have fun, and for you to play with the Spirit team, if you would. Something that we are stepping into the knowledge and awareness of, again, to understand that we never die, as I share with you on this channel. You never die. You switch sides. That's what happens. And there's more to it with that story, but I talk about that in Goal of the Soul, in the book. Get the book, okay? And for those of you who are interested, we will be having the Goal of the Soul classes starting in the fall, okay? So what is very important for you to understand is, just so that anybody who comes across this, and so that we are really stepping into this era of knowledge and wisdom and letting go of this old way of thinking and being that has had us tripped up on life, has caused for us to be lost and mentally sedated. And we will come out of that. We're coming out of that, and even more so in our near future. So there are a lot of freedoms that we will embark upon that we have not been used to. Things that we have been told that they were wrong when in fact they were not. Some of the things that we have been guided to not do or to avoid through indoctrination have been the very things that are the keys that will lead us to our freedom mentally. But in order for us to remain in a sedated state and a state of confusion mentally, thinking that we were not confused, finding joy in the midst of in a mental entrapment for centuries long, we're coming out of that, right? So in this situation, I was guided, actually, as I had been attacked from individuals who were very clear of divination in terms of the spirit realm, but were using it for bad. I did not know what attack I had been under. I couldn't explain it. I couldn't explain what was happening to my body chemistry. My face was breaking out. Things were happening to me all over, and I couldn't understand. I couldn't wash it away. My soft feet went to hard feet. I mean, everything was changing, right, in my face, and I couldn't understand, right? And the toxic environment was very clear, not even just for my own eyes, but those around me, right? I couldn't understand. And the Spirit began to enlighten me of what had happened in terms of individuals who were taking advantage of someone who had no idea of their ability, or all of our ability, in fact, but how they had taken their power and was using it for ill towards an innocent person, i.e. myself, and even others who had no idea, right? For the sake of their own benefit. So I found myself in a situation where no matter what I applied to my skin or what I applied to for my body chemistry, no matter what, I was unable to wash it away. And the Spirit began to enlighten me of the entities and enlighten me of what to do to heal, and guided me to readers, something I had never done, but specific ones, apparently trusted by the divine, who were using their abilities and their power for good. And they were following the Spirit, and they were allowing for the Spirit to lead them in their process. These people, one of them, I'm going to shout out to Shavi Zhang, beautiful young light, beautiful, where she was talking, and it was, ironically enough, she was talking about how to break these particular curses and illusions and spells that people were putting on. The portal for that, a main portal, as I've been guided to understand, is the portal of ignorance. I don't have nothing to do with that. I don't have nothing to do with that. God said, because I don't have nothing to do with that. And then you find out some of the things that you're running around here trying to get rid of and trying to free yourself from. It's as simple as what? Knowledge is power. What you mean? What you mean, a witch and a warlock? I ain't never heard of such. Not but for the movies. The witch and the warlock. Huh? And the imps. And the what? The flies and the fleas. What you mean? You're right. No knowledge. Knowledge is power when applied with wisdom. And I'll say, and light. So when I began to apply some of the methods that she would say, I was being specific. Because see, you got to be specific. And the reason, the importance of the to be specific is because these are energies just like you, that have been created in our ignorance of our power and ability to create beyond the flesh and the blood, as the divine told me. And I share in combos with God. Make it make sense, please. They have names. Okay? God said to me, you all have created many devils because you did not know who you were. Those are the ones that we do have the power to poof, be gone. Your life is over, dude. You know what I'm saying? Transform and leave. That's how that goes. You get what I'm saying? So in this era, in this new era, wisdom is key for survival on this plane, at least. Right? So I went and I started listening, and then the minute I started being directive in my prayer, and how, you wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and the rulers of darkness, had a whole nother meaning. Oh, this how we playing? This what we doing? It got to me, and I listened. Everything cleared up. Boop, 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 cleared up. Boop, boop. Got my smell back. I was smelling like Chanel. What the hell going on? There's some strawberries or bananas or something. Or, well, I like the millions from Victoria's Secrets to layer with my stuff. But anyways, smelling good has been my signature all my life. What you mean? Right? But I got all that back. My feet got soft again. I was able to do what I had to do to get rid of everything. You see? Because I was able to break that thing and be direct. Oh, this is what we dealing with? So then I was able to, wait a minute, hold on, God. What are we doing? What is this? What entity is this? Divine will tell you. That's how I found out about loathing. I hadn't even heard of the word before. I remember feeling one time down so bad that I was just like down. Like I didn't have the energy nor the desire to pray, to do anything, but I was just down. And I remember asking God, what is this? Who is this? And the Spirit said to me, loathe. I'm like, loathe? What is a loathe? I looked it up and understood then what loathe meant. So, as we go in this era, first of all, as our intention, the divine's intention, what our intention is, right? To please God. Well, how about this? The divine source energy, i.e. God. I call God divine source energy, because that's what God is. God is the ultimate level of consciousness, the highest level of consciousness and power. That's what God is. And unfortunately, as it relates to how God has been defined, there has been so much misunderstanding. We'll leave it at that, because in this video, we want to talk about the title of the show that had you all, it was confused. You didn't know what the hell was going on, right? So listen, baby. That situation there enlightened me, and I begin to know how better to pray, how to war as a spiritual warrior. Stepped into my power to understand, and that power is for you. Many ignorant people are being used, especially those who are sedated through indoctrination, just ways of thinking and being, the idea of how we thought that we have had to live life. So then we talk about the things. So the Spirit said to me, and I was nervous, because I've always been guided. I've been pulling cards since I was little. From my mom, I've shared this story many times on the show, different shows, of how she had her little box of scriptures, and I could not wait to pull a card from the scripture. Couldn't wait to pull a scripture out to see what it said. I couldn't wait to go to the Chinese restaurant and to get the cookie at the end, because the cookie had a note in it, and I wanted people to leave their notes. So then I would kind of feel around and wouldn't pick all of them, but I would pick a specific one that I was guided to. When I began to develop and to grow in spirit, grow closer to the divine in my own personal relationship, I began to even read the Bible in the way in which I was guided. God, what is this? What do you want me to read today? What does this mean? I thank you for the interpretation that you give me. God, Holy Spirit, El Shaddai, Elohim. Okay? So if I need to speak a language that you understand. Yes, God is real. God is good. What? All the time. For real. And that ain't the devil. You understand me? So, That's always been it. When I was going through depression a few years ago and coming out of that deep, dark space after being mentally abused, I remember as the Spirit would lead me, I would follow. That's all I could do. I couldn't do nothing else. I couldn't listen to anything else. I would look on the TV and I would see the TV and I would say, okay, Lord, what's the word today? And I modulated as I grew where I was guided to learn, as I grew closer and closer. Closer I get to you. Yeah. The more you make me see. That part. As I got closer and closer and closer, then I would get into a different message. God would send me to different spaces and different places. Thank God, I always say. Thank God for Joel Osteen. In the beginning stages, it was T.D. Jakes, and then I would listen to Sarah Jakes, and she had that vibe and that thrive, and then it went beyond that. Then at some point I couldn't hear a real harsh message. I couldn't afford to hear that harsh message because of the state of mind that I was in. I was broken, broken for a purpose, for sure. So as I began to learn and get closer, then he gave me Joel Osteen, and Joel Osteen gave me the understanding, he said, don't worry about it. Don't try to make it change. Just keep showing up, being with the divine. And as you show up, then you will change. Just let it be and let it happen. I needed that. Because guilt will hold you back. Guilt will hold you back. If you think in your mind that the divine is not pleased with you because you smoking a cigarette or you drinking that drink, or you do, I'm going to get it together. I don't know if I can stop drinking right now. I'm going to get it together. I don't know if I can stop smoking right now. I'm going to get it together. And that's not even the point. Not even the point. Yes, you can work on your calling in the midst of it. I did. Right. Sure did. Right through the addiction. I was smoking Black and Milds like they were cigars, like I was smoking a Colombian cigar or something, but it was deeper than that because it was all the time, because I had picked it up because had gotten confused and was hurt and broken in a moment and took it from. I said, let me get that. Let me get that. Chain smoking them. One a day, huh? What you mean? More than that. Like a hobby. For sure. I had to keep going. And until one day it didn't happen anymore. And I don't even know when it stopped. But I kept meditating. I kept going. I didn't beat myself up. That's for somebody. Don't beat yourself up. All right. You did it that day. Okay. Let me stop. And you did it. You do it. Keep going. Don't stop. Don't let anybody tell you that you out of order or you got a cold turkey. No. Don't suppress any of you. The divine said to me that it is important for you to be you, all of you, at all given times, right? And let the chips fall where they may. Let people experience what they're supposed to experience, including yourself. Everybody need to get this. Everybody need to get and experience what you need to experience along the way. So as I begin to become more free and authentic with the divine and being willing to hear and listen and not confuse what had been told to me as a result of the gaslighting and from the relationship and from how I was raised in the church. When the divine began to show me the truth of itself in terms of its love and care, I'm just saying, if you think that's me, you don't know me at all. What the divine told me. If you think I would do, that's that type of thing. When somebody gives you an ultimatum. Imagine being in a relationship like that. How many of you are in a relationship because you are afraid of being abused if you leave? Don't hold your hand. How many of you are in a relationship that you are in because you are afraid of being abused if you leave? It's safer for you to be there. How many of you really, and if you're honest with yourself, you don't tell nobody, but if you're honest with yourself, when you come back to it, way back when you first accepted God in your life and that particular religion, you did because they told you about hell and you said, damn, hell, what? I'm gonna go, hell, that's not too much of a choice. If your choice is be free with me, I want you to go ahead and love. Yep, I'll let you love me so long as you do this, and this. No, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. No, I don't care. You can't do that. Okay? Now, if you do that over there, then I'm going to burn your ass for the rest of your life. Don't even worry about it. You know where you're going if you do that. You know I'm going to put you up on that tree and hang your ass and I'm going to beat you. You know I'm going to cut your head off if you do this or that. Is that a relationship? Is that love? Would you be bound to a relationship like that freely? Because you just want to? Is that freedom? Be honest. Nobody's there. Is that freedom? I'm just saying. Hell no. It's not freedom at all. The furthest thing from it. It's called bondage. Well, we've been in a situation where we have been taught to love that, okay? We went from the plantation and we were free as far as the black people. And in other areas like the Jewish where they had to fight too. Those in different places like Iran and different places like that, they're fighting too. People fighting. The humankind is fighting all over the world from the sedation of indoctrination as a result of a religion or another, one or another. Are you free? For real though? I'm just saying. The gifts that we have, just the gifts of the Spirit. They're sedated. We can't even operate freely in our gifts that were God-given because we have been told that they are evil. But in the scriptures, as we read, it talks about Gabriel. You know, Gabriel was an angel, walks up in the room, and they say, and it talks about everybody greeted Gabriel. Hey, Gabriel, like, what's up? What's up? How you doing? Because they were in that frequency at that time where they could all see the Spirit. You don't die, you switch sides. Death is a human experience, and the only death that is a death is the ego. Meeting that shadow and killing that mother sucker and like, look, okay, I got you. I see you, and we're going to transmute this situation. Like we talked about with the pearl. We're going to transmute this situation, this parasite of a situation. And we'll make something new out of it. Make something good out of it. Make something, shake something. That's what we're going to do. Okay? So listen. So as we talk about all of this, and I didn't think that I was going to be doing tarot. But I would pick the oracle cards. I was good at picking those, right? You know how we can do tomato, but we can't do tomato. I can pick the oracle cards because they just have a nice little animal card and it's going to say a little nice little spiritual word for it. And that's palatable, right? We can do that. But I can't pick up those ones that got that story on it. Yeah. And then somebody who was actually very broken, I saw in it the story. That's how I understood that it was a story. It was my life. It was the story, the fool that jumps. It takes the leap. And the flow, the energetic flow, where in which the cards fall and do what they do. You can either use it for positivity or you can use it for negativity. However you're going to do it. Some people choose to learn it, just like they did in the pulpits and different things. People have picked up, some people have a church. I can't tell you how many people have a church just because they found out that you can get a 501c, or you can get a nonprofit organization and set it up and make some money off of it. There's a whole lot of people who did that. There's a whole lot of people who are learned. A lot of people found their hope and their calling in the church. So therefore, they associated themselves with the hope and the calling, and they took it how it was. So even though they were still suppressed, they didn't see it like that because they found their hope and the calling in that scenario. Like my mom was gang raped at 19. We didn't understand why mom made a lot of the choices that she made. Why was she operating in fear? My whole life, a lot of things that we couldn't do because mom was still afraid. She was operating in that fear, but she lived in the Bible. You understand? And she read it all the time. But mom was suffering. We had no idea till I was good and grown with children that we found out that she had been gang raped at 19 downtown by some Detroit pimps. Okay? And she was just waiting at the bus stop. That's all she was doing. Sweetest thing. Right? Now, in that situation, a prostitute that was in the house that saw my mom grabbed my mom and took her down the street to the church and put her on the steps. Okay, so my mom found her hope and her calling on that church, and she was scared as hell to death when she died even. Okay, she was afraid because she told me she had always heard the divine talking to her, but she would follow what man said. When God told her don't get the surgery, when she had this rare cancer, don't get the surgery, she was adamant. She said, God told me don't do it. But then somebody who thought that what she thought was ridiculous and wanted to control her narrative went to a leader in her church that she attended, and they told her, God didn't tell you that. Go ahead and do the surgery like you're supposed to, Mildred. That guilt had my mom all messed up because she was trusting the leader, but God was telling her, and she told me before she left, she said, God told me I'm not going to die. She said, but from the rest of my life, for whatever it is, I'm not listening to anybody anymore. I should have listened to God. So you have your own relationship. Your soul has its own mission and purpose. So it needs you to follow the internal map quest that you have been given. See, the divine created the vision for humankind and allowed for us to go with the flow. Just like the trees in the forest and then with the flowers and all that, we see that and we experience that, but we didn't create all of that. It does it by itself if we leave it alone. We can go in there and cut stuff up, but we go in there and discover as well. So it is important for us to understand that a lot of times through the hope and the calling, it was better than getting the lashes on your back. It's better than having to being under some type of dictatorship. But mentally, we have been sedated under a mental dictatorship. The emancipation, those who have come before us, like Prince, my dear friend, who were fighting for that. Dr. Martin Luther King fought for the physical side, and then there were those like Prince who fought, and Michael Jackson. They fought for Prince primarily was fighting for that as an advocate. There were others. Lenny Kravitz still living. People who were like that, who have been fighting for that. Lauryn Hill, these people who have been fighting for the freedom of mankind, the mind. But this is not a black thing. It doesn't matter about whether you're black, white, your soul has no color. Your soul could have been anything in any life, could have shared life in any type of situation. At the end of the day, you are spirit. See, those spirits still live. Your ancestors have history. They may have appointed you to do certain things in this lifetime, and they already know who you are. So you have helpers. They come to you in your dreams. You feel them in your presence and all of that. But then we have been taught and so far removed from the reality of who we are, we have not been able to really embrace the beauty of all things. Of all things on both sides. You feel me? So when this came up, and I was reading and I saw the power in it. And I know how I'm guided. Even when, like I said, when I'm guided to listen to something online or something, I'm guided to it. I'll say, well, what am I guided to? I go how I'm guided, so that I know that that message is for me, so that I'm not all over the place. And you have to be very careful, because you can be very intrigued. A lot of people are learned. There are some people who are readers and they're learned. They're reading the cards, but they don't listen. The spirit is flowing all over the place, right? But it picks up the energy that is part of your reader. So if your reader is sitting up there looking, is living in, basking in the ambiance and negativity, that's the energy that you're going to receive. You have to be very careful of who you sit in the room with. Just like when you go to a church or a mosque, or you do something like that, and you've been doing that for years, you have to be careful who you align with, period. I have a list that I'm putting together, because there were people that, and I realized it over time, that the divine was showing me people that were safe, right? And so I've watched them, and they don't even know, because of that, so that I can give them as a resource, so that people, when they want to check certain things out, they can. But this is an opportunity for us to like play with the spirit, play with spirit realm, right? Play with the spirit realm. And I play games on my show, for example. I play games. I'm talking to that person who you were guided, and then you stumbled because of the title, and you were confused. Not confused, you thought you were quite clear, like something didn't happen, okay? This is either you're here or you're not. But this is for anyone who is listening to this point, so that you can have some knowledge and wisdom and understanding as it relates to this realm of discussion these days, right? So the game of life was intended to be fun, a game of life to discover. Look at the video. It's one that's prior to this that I did. There's also the themes. So the spirit gave me the title, and I was like, tarot and things. What is things? Like, I don't understand what. How do you talk about things? And things is you'll be surprised to know about things, and what it means, actually. I was surprised myself. Let me pull this up. But when you talk about things, it talks about what you cannot touch. It is, they call it a sentiment. Things meaning. Basically, it is like the spirit realm, tarot and things. It's like, okay, you can't call it. You can't put a name on it. Don't put a tag on it, because it just is. It's just that. It exists, and it is clearly, it just exists. You can't put you can't call it. You can't put a name on it. Right? So, and things. So, let me I think my phone is about to die, so I don't want to miss this, and then, hold on, let's see here. And things. Collection. No. Let's look at the definition. The definition, because there are multiple definitions for thing, and you would just be surprised. Okay, an inanimate object distinguished from a living being, a separate and distinct individual, quality, fact, idea, or usually entity. entity. The concrete entity, as distinguished from its appearance, a spatial entity. We are entity energies. We don't have, technically, and this is actually, you carry your soul. Your soul is an entity energy, just like you. Okay? But it doesn't have the arms and legs. It is an entity energy. The soul is the one that passes the baton in life and comes with a mission and moves forward. That's the mission of the soul. So 9 times out of 10 at this point, it has encompassed more than, it has lived and resided in more vessels than just yours. But it energetically flowed in connectedness to you for a reason. And it has an initial mission. It is the origin of the mission and the vision. And it has an appointment with you. Now, it's important for us to get in line and in alignment with the flow of the divine, which is that internal map quest. Essentially, the divine created humankind intentionally with everything that it needs. It poured itself into us, period. There's nothing that happened. It did not become contaminated. It did not separate because you were a different color or race or anything like that. It poured into a vessel or two, and then it began to flow and do what it did. And now here we are today. With the intention of us enjoying ourselves along the way as we discover the truth. Come into rediscovery of who we truly are. Not knowing fully in the beginning, but enjoying the process of change. Right? Taking all that we have learned thus far and knowing that we have the power and ability to embrace whatever role we are to play in this lifetime. So whatever your role is, whatever position you are to be in on the playing field, that is up for us to discover that and get in position. So, some of us may be a hostess at a restaurant. Some of us we may have a more vigorous role, and it may be as a police officer or someone in the Army or the Navy, and you're called to do whatever it is that you do, and you know the risk that you're going to take when you do it, but you do it because that's just what you are called to do, and you feel at home with it, even if it costs your life on this plane. But it's like, that's the name of the game. But you'll have peace if you are in the position that you were divinely created to play. That's why your soul aligned with you. You'll have peace regardless of whatever your role is to play. Your soul doesn't like it. Your soul is not, it's like getting in an Uber car and you have the map quest. You have already said where you want to go. And the Uber driver decides to go where the hell they want to go. We're like, where you going, man? I said I was going over here to the east side. Why you taking me over there to the west side? How did we end up over here? That's like the soul getting into a vessel that doesn't listen to the divine. Getting into a vessel that doesn't listen. That's what that's like. Yeah. Get into a vessel and it's because we have free will. So get into the vessel and it's like, are you serious? Some ancestors y'all got, they mad in mud. They mad as hell. They're like, what the hell, man? You got this big assignment. You're like, you got everything. Like, don't get it fucked up. Don't mess this up, man. On this plane causing all kind of karma instead of dharma. Like, what the hell? Come on. Listen. Don't be worried about the wrong things. That's another thing. So things. It's the intangible. You can't call it. So tarot and things. Is there something else I'm supposed to? Okay. Yeah, tarot and okay. So the spirit wants me to look up. Okay. So we got tarot and things, but what was it? Wait a minute. Take a minute. I don't know why this song keeps ringing in my ear all the time. Reevaluate all of the things said special after all. See, the spirit is like, do you still love me like you used to? So the spirit is trying to get us to, if I don't know you, show me you. That's the question I had to ask God. If I don't know you, and it show me you, but it was very hard for me to do that because I thought I knew all that I need to know about God. What you talking about? All I got to do is just work, live, go to church, and go home, and die when I get old. I mean, what you mean? What else is there to know, right? I know there's many of you that feel that way. But there's more to it, and it's for us to have fun, to enjoy ourselves in the process. You know, joy is something that is intangible. It's an intangible experience. It is something that is not attached to the things that are external of us. It is that which is the nature, character of the soul. Yeah, that part. So listen, y'all. Oh my God. All right, so, and wow, I don't even know how this is still holding on. I'm still holding on. I'm still holding on to his hand. I said I wouldn't make it. I said I wouldn't be here today. I said I never amount to anything. There are many that started out with me, but now they're gone astray. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Inanimate. Now gonna rain. I'm still holding on. I'm still holding on. I'm still holding on to his hand. Yeah, yeah. I'm still. So the spirit wanted me to look up inanimate. Not endowed with life or spirit. Lacking consciousness or power of motion. It's like someone who is dead to the flesh. Let's just say that. Dead to the flesh. I'm still holding on, yeah, to his promise. Yep. So, to hold on to the promise and tarot and things, I am talking to those who have been the fool and decided to take the leap of faith and to travel the journey. Yeah. You have died to the flesh Choose not to be ruled by those things that are external, but rather you are deciding to roll with the Spirit and have fun while you're doing it. So you're getting in the groove and you're doing what you do like you do. That's what you're doing, baby. That's what tarot and things mean. You took the leap of faith. You decided to step away from traditional ways of being, thinking, and residing on this plane. So, forget the need to know everything, but be guided in your messages and how you choose to receive the word from God. Make sure you meditate in the morning and at night. The divine said to me, when I asked the question, how do I tell people who have heard people say that they did something that was heinous and they were guided to do it? And the divine quickly shared with me that that you create more than just flesh and blood. You create entity energies that have the same ability to communicate to you in vibration like I do, which, like I have shared with you, God doesn't talk. God is a vibration, God said. It's like a binary code, and it translates to you into whatever language you speak, based on how you are in tune will be how you will determine how you hear and perceive what is being said to you. So it's important, imperative for you to be in tune. Get in tune. Find out. Step into it. Dump. For real. So the Spirit said to me that, so these entity energies that you have all created, in pain, in trouble, you're gossiping and cursing folks at the same time, you know. When you talk about cursing, it's not the language that you use. That's an expression. What the divine also shared with me. So y'all worry about the wrong thing. Those are words y'all made. You all made those words up. I didn't. I don't care about all of that. You all care about that. The cursing is the actual curses that you are cursing people when you talking about folks. When you putting your name on folks, when you think you're praying for somebody, but and calling them to you, when in fact you are stepping on the natural power and the natural freedom of a person. I remember including someone in my vision prayer that was a spouse, and I had their name, and I was, it was a positive thing, like, you're praying over, say you could be praying over your marriage, you could be praying over your relationship, and you're praying for it to be great. And when you're talking about your future, you're including that person's name in it, and this, that, and the third. Well, at some point, the Spirit said to me, take their name out. And I was confused. What do you mean take the name out of the prayer? Like, this is the vision for the life, vision for, let's say, take their name out. Because everybody has free will. So you have to be willing to follow the Spirit. Everybody has their own free will and timing for whatever they're going to do. And the Spirit knows stuff that you don't know that's happening in backgrounds of stuff, right? So at any given point in time, it's just pray about your stuff all the way, all the time. I don't care if you're married to somebody. I don't care if you're in a relationship with somebody. I don't care if it's your child. You can say their name. You call them out. Speak positive. But as it relates to any connectiveness with you, just let the Spirit flow. Make it generic. My husband, my children, my wife, my children, my seed. Bless your seed. Yes, bless your seed. When it comes to the person that you have decided to do partnership with, that's not your seed. Pray for them. But allow and understand that there is free will. Otherwise, like, as innocently as it may be, and you meant only good things, it has a hold on somebody. That's what the Spirit showed me. Say, when you stop doing that, just allow the chips fall where they may. And after that, the Lord said, I'm gonna bring down the wall of Jericho in here. I'm thinking, well, what the hell is the wall of Jericho? Let me read that up. Let me read about that. I didn't realize, like, as it is expressed in the tarot, that's the tower. A tower about to fall up in here. And that's what the Spirit told me that. About 3 years before it happened. But I didn't. When the Spirit tell you, don't cast your pearl on the swine. What do you mean about that? Because this is what the Spirit said. When I asked the divine, well, if you were gaslit centuries ago, then why did you say something before then? Before now? And the Spirit reminded me, remember when I said to you, don't cast your pearl on the swine the other day? I said, yes. He said, well, that's the same thing. Because they don't hear. They're not going to hear. They have proven that. I would not, it didn't make sense to come. It wasn't enough for you woke. It would have been falling on deaf ears. Now it is. So, that's what I'm like, about it. And when it comes to the divine's call, divine's vision, like, oh my. I'm on the team, right? Get on the team, man. We gotta, man. So all this time, we were hoodwinked, mentally entrapped, insanity. And now we got an opportunity to step up on the field and find out whatever position you're supposed to be in, get in that mother sucker and do it. And yes, there are going to be some, listen, souls will be moving on. You know, some souls are here for a long time, some are here for a short time. But that's the importance of getting in alignment with the divine so that you can be at peace at whatever position you have been called to be in. That's just period. So, because the scales have to balance, we got to balance the scale, balancing, clearing the playing field, if you would. I say it's like we've been on a football field playing tennis. The Spirit is calling it back. Like, the owners are coming up. Like, okay, look, we about to clear this out because we got to get ready. We're getting ready for the game. Some of the people that are in position to do things that you may not like, because it's going to show up. It's going to show you up. People that are in your life, like sometimes you are in relationships, you're being called to step away from a certain relationship. You want to stay in a relationship because anything else is going to cause you to grow. You don't want to die. The worst, man, when the Spirit told me, when my mom said to me that God told her she wasn't going to die, and I was having dreams that she was going to die, and my dreams always come to pass. I have a gift of dreams, and all them clairaudiences, clairs and the clearance, whatever you will feel it. I can feel it, see it, be it, all that, okay? So I didn't understand what I had to ask God. Like, what do you mean? You told Mom that she wasn't going to die. My mom was prophetic as well. And so you told Mom she wasn't going to die. So, but I just had this dream again. And now I woke up crying. So I know she's going to die. So what are you saying? And God said, Spirit never dies. Oh, okay. But then later on down the line, the Spirit showed me, I used to always, I get, person who is empathic. And you are called for a high position in this process in the kingdom, if you would, you don't want to see hurt come to people, even if they've harmed you, even if they did anything to you. That's not you. It's not in your character, right? So the Spirit showed me one day out of the blue something that was going to happen, and gave me the feeling, and it just overwhelmed me, and it brought me to tears. I'm like, oh my God. And then I went to go and pray for them, like, please. And the Spirit was like, no. I said, what is going on? They're going to die of a broken heart. So later on, I put the two things together, and I'm like, wait a minute, but you said the Spirit never dies, but then you said they're going to die of the ego death. Shut up now. See what listening do to you? Death is the death of the ego. The passing is a transition. Period. Oh yeah. I've had several encounters, quite a few, all my life. I've seen. I can't even deny it. It is what it is. What we talking about? We not lying about it. We not lying. We not just gonna hide about it. Spirit says, stop hiding myself. Stop. Just stop. That's done. We done with that. Okay? No more hiding about who I am. It is what it is. I didn't even know. Some of it I didn't even know. I didn't know, hey, I've been indoctrinated on my whole life. Like, what are you talking about? I didn't know the gifts were actually powerful things, that I can help people. So yeah. So when you come on my space, when you come, I say welcome home. Take off your shoes at the door. Take off them old shoes, that old energy, let it go. Come open and willing of what is served at the table when you come here, which is truth, however the Spirit leads. I will follow wherever you lead me. I will follow wherever you lead me. I will follow. I choose to be guided. Hey, I choose to be guided. That's period. Okay? So listen, I'm so glad we had this time together. And I hope that we could sing along for me and you for me forever. And I must go. Listen, baby. I'm sending you love, peace, joy, and happiness. Stay connected. Don't forget to subscribe. All right, my beautiful soul. I love you. 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 I do. Hey, more than you ever know. Hey, it's for sure. And you can always count on my love forevermore. Baby, when when we're together, say I'm alright. You're alright, it's like paradise. You feel me? Alright. I love you. Have a wonderful and fantastic day. Thank you for joining me for my coffee break.